As flickered flame makes shadows bend, and smoke meets moonlight, cold and blue, when blackest night hails twilight's end, then darkness comes to beckon you. As hunger turns the flesh to fire, and breathing falters, reason halts, then creep the claws of dark desire to rip and split you at your faults.
You open the door to the head nurse's quarters. You see her standing there, waiting for you. Her throat is torn open, but you see that whatever she has tried to do to hold her own against the undead forces is here with her in her echo. You see that she has a syringe needle clutched in her hand. She is ready to do what she needs to do to stop this undead incursion. But Thistle and Morrow, you are first. If you would like to attempt to calm and exorcise this spirit before she can try to attack you all, you may do so. We're going to start with Thistle. You may roll an occultism check.
Okay, I'm gonna see if she's open to some ritual time. It's a 19. It's probably not very good.
Yeah. So with a 19, I will say, Thistle, you are transfixed by the look in her eye, this crazed look of a last stand, which is frozen, has been frozen on her face for almost 200 years, and the ripped throat and the tendrils of skin hanging down. And you try to summon your magical forces, and there is just an empty feeling in your stomach. You do have one action left if you would like to run away or raise a shield. You may do one or the other.
I'm gonna make a character choice. In this panic, I don't think that she even thinks about protecting herself. She's gonna use Protect Companion to kind of make a bubble around Log. It's like the one creature she cares about.
Understood. And I will freely admit I have not been getting Log to roll any of these will saves, taking this damage. The nature of this event is really more focused on you guys. There will be times when I will have Log, but rules as written, I should be having Log do all of these every time. So just letting you guys know.
It's a DGM choice. You get the privilege of making those.
Exactly. I'm the gay mommy in charge here. Don't you forget it.
Thank you again, Mummy.
Thank you, Game Mummy.
Hey, it's Team Mommy with the blood dice.
They're always here, always ready. Alrighty, Morrow. Would you like to religion about this?
I'm going to religion about this. I've got a plus 18 in religion, so...
Okay.
I will show you. I got another 19 plus 18.
Okay.
So whatever that maths out to be.
It's going to be a 37. So that is a very, very strong success, but this gal is really dug in. So I would say this is one success. We are getting closer to exorcising her, but it is not enough to completely open the door for her. So Morrow, you are absolutely, it's working, starting to exorcise her. You do have one extra action if you'd like to move or to raise your buckler. You may do one of those two.
I think I am going to just raise buckler and hunker down a little bit.
Sounds good. All right, next is Wick. Now, Wick, we are choosing the path of of trying to exorcise these things without fighting them. You absolutely can fight this one. You may also try to use yourself as a human shield or a halfling shield if you would like to be the subject of the nurse's ire until it comes around to Thistle and Morrow's turn again. Completely up to you.
I'm still toying with the idea of swaddling Log. And I don't think she would hit somebody who's holding a baby with the permission of Thistle.
Oh my boy!
I will say
going to- I'm not-
it takes 3 actions to do, but you absolutely can do it.
Oh my
It takes
god.
3 actions? Well, I'm still not, like, if we're not fighting, there's only
not
certain
fighting.
things I can do.
Fair.
And I just have those sweet little big ol' eyes. So I'm going to...
Why don't we make you the baby then?
I'm a baby holding a baby. She would never attack us.
Babies having babies.
Oh,
All right. So,
Right,
Wick, you
babies holding
quickly
babies.
disguise yourself. Give me a deception check. Let's count
Okay.
this as a disguise, a quick disguise. Here.
As much as Wick does not like to lie, this is not a lie. This is a deception, which I'm quite good at.
It's self-preservation is what this is.
Ooh. I have 24. To be clear, with Wick's deception, this is to swaddle log and to rock log and to hum Old MacDonald and try to have this entity feel as though things are back the way they're supposed to be. There's nothing attacking her.
Okay.
This is
No, I get it. I get it.
okay.
All right. So we move on to the nurse's turn. So the ghost nurse will use her first action to move towards Thistle. She reaches out towards you with the hand that does not have the needle. And with a 35 athletics check against your fortitude DC, which is a 23, Thistle is restrained by this creature. And with the other hand, the ghost plunges the needle into Thistle, and that is going to be a 37 to hit you, which is going to be a critical success.
In front of this baby holding a baby?
Really? Right in front of my,
Like, right in front of my baby?
In front of my
my
child.
baby?
So that is a combined 30 damage, void damage. So this needle is no longer real. This is pure void energy now that is affecting you. So you feel yourself literally being injected with energy from the void coursing through your body. And it is now Scenes' turn. Scenes, if you would like to make an occultism check to try to exorcise this thing, you absolutely may.
I would, but first, for reasons, I am going to use my first action to exploit vulnerability, just to get a bead on her first and foremost.
Absolutely. Roll me an esoteric lore check.
Okay, that is a 30, 13 plus 17.
Perfect. All right, so a 30 on this gal is a critical success for a lore roll.
Okay.
So this nurse is an echo, as we mentioned. Resists all damage 5 except force, ghost touch, or positive, or rather holy. Resistance is doubled versus non-magical attacks. Immune to death effects, disease, paralyzed, poison, precision, and unconscious.
Okay.
You may ask me 2 questions.
Are there any specific to her? Are there any unusual weaknesses, like something that is something that's mentioned in the critical success section? But I'm really trying to hone in on something for this head nurse.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, the fact that she does not resist holy damage is kind of, it's not troubling necessarily, but you've got to wonder, like, what were these women's last moments as she was desperately trying anything to save her coworkers and the people on this ward.
And then weakest save?
Weakest save for her is fortitude.
Okay. Cinza kind of, grasps her amulet and peers into what kind of like she's reading the situation, almost like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, where he like analyzes the room and all the bits and bobs that kind of make up the situation, and then she reaches into her shirt and just by feel pulls a necklace, if you'll allow me. Because I've kind of already joked about and established that she has a series of gods that she kind of subscribes to, kind of cherry picks what she likes from them. But one in particular that I mentioned is Desna. And you did mention there was a symbol of Desna found elsewhere in this ward, and she pulls a necklace with a symbol of Desna and holds it up. And hey, listen, we're not undead. We're here to help. We're here to save you. We're here to help you and your friends. Please just let her go. And then I will roll occultism to see if I can do anything about it.
Right.
That ain't half bad. That is, even with only a plus 11 compared to some of my friends, that's a 29.
Wonderful. Okay. So, Sinza, you brandish the holy symbol. Moro, you are already chanting. Wick, you are posing as a child with a baby. Who would ever harm?
I'm genuinely, he's upset. He's upset now that he saw his person get attacked by a needle, so Log is genuinely needing comfort right now.
Thistle
Man,
is
you're upsetting our baby.
Thistle is pinned against the wall by this ghost with the needle in her neck. You can barely feel your feet touching the ground. The tips of your shoes are just brushing. And this ghost feels the energy coming at her from both sides. And Thistle, you see the absolute shame and sadness on her face. She pulls the needle out. It falls out of her hand. It drops. You don't hear a sound. It splashes into smoke. She says, Mother Vulture, I should not have abandoned my faith. Please forgive me. Let me fall into dust. And Thistle, she breaks apart, half and half, between Moro and Sinza, and crumbles and falls.
I think Sinza, still holding her kind of collection of holy symbols, just whispers to a now empty, awkwardly silent room, "You're forgiven." Thistle, are you okay?
We go home now. Where's my baby?
I do your baby here.
Give me back my boy.
Doing the, I don't want to be held legal.
Not unsubstantial amount of damage, right?
30 is pretty nuts. Yeah, absolutely.
I am holding on, but not well. Thistle just like slides to the floor, holding Log. Just like, oh, okay, give me a minute. Everyone, shut up. Give me some time with my boy.
I am going to go ahead and cast another heal. I am going to use a 2-action heal. I'm gonna say what I'm pretty sure this mechanic is. Correct me if I am wrong, game parents. 2-action heal means you get the 4d8 healing plus 32.
So, you are casting this at rank 4. So a 2-action heal, yes, would be 32.
20 total. Plus 32 is 52.
Nice. Well done. Alrighty. Moving back down the other side here, as Moro had suggested, we're going to find an alchemy room that is 3H. As you open the door to this room, as your mage hand opens the door, the fumes of 100 rotten reagents bellow out. Everybody give me a fortitude save.
22.
18.
26,
I'm so
18,
bad at these.
There's a symbol. Oh, that's the 20. That's a nat 20 plus Fortitude, so 31. There we go.
Perfect. Okay. So you all, except for Wick, unfortunately, I don't know if it's because you're lowered to the ground, whatever. Wick, you are sickened for 1 minute. You will be able to shake this off, but it's just not very pleasant. But there are a few things that are salvageable in this room. There are 4 glow rods.
Nice.
Hell yeah, fantasy glow
Yeah.
stick.
Glow sticks, yes. The 1 foot long gold tipped rod glows after it's struck on a hard surface for the next 6 hours. It sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius.
Yoink.
For fantasy raves.
And then
fantasy raves.
3G, yeah, for fantasy raves. 3G, when you open up this room, the door to this room, as you look on it, features the Vidira crest, though it has been vandalized by some sort of acid, eating and warping at the wood and turning the golden paint into a runny green ooze.
Is there some sort of blood that could do this, or is this some sort of spit up from a creature?
Thing in Pathfinder.
It is. It doesn't have any acidic quality, though.
Okay.
So this was potentially something that maybe they found in the alchemy room.
Okay, cool.
Throne, yeah.
Yeah. The sumptuously appointed room features an ornate fireplace, 4-poster bed, large armoire, and other comforts. You assume this is the room where the noble family was treated for illnesses, gave birth, and perhaps died. It is largely untouched, you may assume, because no one was here when the attack began, and no one dared to hide in it to be flushed out later on. And Wick, you can go ahead and give me a perception check.
That is just a 19.
So you open the armoire, and you find that there's a set of male noble and female noble clothes. They each have a presentable rune etched onto them, which means that they are preserved until that magic finally decays. So it's just 2 nice sets of clothes in there.
And does anybody want, please?
Maybe we could return them, but I feels weird to take anything out of here. Well, that's not like directly useful.
Yeah, Cinta like looks down at the glow rod strapped to her hip and the ring on her hand, like, yeah, real weird to take stuff out of here. Yeah.
To be fair, it would be really weird for you to like roll up to Vidira Manor wearing like Radia's great grandmother's clothes.
Yeah.
Be like, what up?
Hey, do you like my duds? Yeah, no, I'm fine with leaving these behind.
All right. So there is one area left on the other side. These doors lead to the balcony. As you approach them, another echo materializes. You see that sword and shield wielder you've seen before. Fighting alongside him is a middle-aged woman you assume to be Baroness Ayana Vidira, extravagantly dressed in a sleek, off-the-shoulder gown. Her clothing does nothing to hinder her lethality. She fires off bolts of force with one hand and throws conjured flaming javelins with the other, a new one materializing as soon as the old one has struck out at its target. You watch them as they pursue the last of the invaders onto the balcony, backing them onto the railing until only the handsome vampire, who seemingly led that break-in, remains. Ayana conjures a spell, and the vampire freezes just before it attempts to mount the railing. You see her battle posture relax. The man's does not. He approaches the vampire slowly, still on guard. You hear Ayana's voice. Wait, Tristane, please, wait. He's still our son. Tristane, stop. No, not my baby. He's my baby. She fires off another spell at Tristane, but he easily blocks it with his shield. He's within striking distance of the vampire now, but looks over his shoulder to Ayana, his intense gaze softening into tired determination. You hear him respond to his pleading lover. I swore an oath to protect you, my love. His voice is soft and grim. Even from yourself. Tristane grabs the vampire by the collar and buries his flaming blade into their stomach, to the hilt, flames and black blood erupting from his son's back. Davroan, Vampyra. Just then, the vampire twitches and grasps his father by both shoulders, driving his fangs into Tristane's neck. Ayana screams as she watches her son pitch both him and her lover off the side of the balcony. The echo fading into mist, quickly whipped away by the wind. Any evidence of the battle which took place here has been long scoured by wind and rain. There's a scrape on the balcony where father and son fell, and a few scratches from flaming weapons. That is all that remains. This area, you imagine, was once used for enrichment activities, but everything has been left to the elements. Planters blooming with fungus, benches cracked and sun-bleached. Only a single upright chair seems relatively intact.
She lost them both that day.
No. That's why. No. Is there some kind of check I can make to see what I would know about vampires and whether or not there's any possibility that either of them secretly survived? We might have to deal with that.
Sure. You can give me religion. You can give me... I would accept warfare lore or undead lore if you have it.
I should have warfare lore, but my religion is better.
And just so I'm understanding the family tree correctly, this was Davroan, and that's why we don't know his dad? Or...
That is the easiest assumption, yes.
Okay.
36.
And Thistle, that's when it hits you. Face, the little boy in the painting of Ayana. Of course, he was grown up now. Still a young man, but 26, you said?
36.
36, lovely. So there's a lot of variables in place. Tristane stabbed the belly. Davroan did not seem to be staked. So it was potentially not a fatal blow. Vampire can climb. You are looking down the balcony and you see the dock below. If they hit the water, it's absolutely possible that both survived. It is equally possible that both perished, one or the other. So, Moro, you share your experience with your companions, what you know about vampires, what you have seen, their capabilities, accomplishments. There is only the basement left now. I will say, Wick crumpled in a corner. You do find the scarf, or what you assume to be the scarf. It's somebody's, Capena. And in one of the nurses' quarters, you find a round stone, which is etched with clothes. It is a wardrobe stone. So it can allow you to change your garb whenever you like. So you can imagine for a thrifty gal on a budget, like a nurse who still wants to be fashionable, a wardrobe stone is actually a quite solid investment.
I think Cinza is staring out over the, like, sort of balcony, not parapet, but you know what I mean. It's...
Yes.
Yeah. And I think she just kind of murmurs as she's looking at the space where the father and son tumbled over, much to the great horror, dismay, and just tragedy to the late Lady Vampyra. And I think she just mumbles, "A love forbidden, a parting unbidden." Huh. Interesting. Was there anything else that we think we need to do up here, or do we head down?
I think we head out. Yeah. Let's get down to that basement.
Yeah.
Mara's going to brush her hands over the mark left from where they tumbled over, and Cinza's question is almost going to startle her out. of this focus as she just yes. Forward. As they walk, she's going to write the young Vidira's name on her list of victims.
Yeah. Because officially, everyone died in a hunting accident.
Yeah. Why would he attack here, though? Just kind of musing as they head down. Why would he lead an attack on? Doesn't make sense.
You walk down the stairs back into the operating theater and take the elevator down to the basement. This area is largely intact, with only the passage of time a force of destruction.
Wick is going to check in on Thistle because she just took quite a bit of damage. Thistle, are you all right? How are you feeling after all that?
Well, with Moro, I got myself righted again. And you? Are you all right?
Hang in there. A little disturbed that there's yet another level to go.
I think that, like, Thistle's hand goes to his shoulder, and she goes, "We will feast well, and we will sleep well tonight."
Yes. I know exactly what I'm going to eat as soon as we're back. Let us hope that all the doors we open on this level are as sweet as that old woman.
And I think that Thistle smiles and goes, "Well, one can only hope."
Scenes calls from like where she's walking adjacently or whatever. Yeah, if this goes down as many floors as it goes up, I am leaving. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're leaving. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Can we tell Montgrief that I have not been paid enough for this? This is bullshit.
They don't
Here.
really need a basement, do they? They could board it up and say
They have 3 floors.
Aren't
Hey,
you
three
the
out
one
of
who said we need to
floors.
be sure it is completely safe for Odessa?
I never said that, Wick. That is on you.
I do
Hey,
agree
Wick,
with all
when you're right, you're right.
paid
You
enough
two
for
said.
this.
I-
However, the quicker we finish the basement, the quicker I can take a bath. Let's go.
And I'm just gonna be like, "You weren't stabbed with a void energy." As I follow you down the
I
stairs.
burned 3 healing spells healing you motherfuckers from being stabbed with void energy. I know.
Guys, we can play personal tragedy tournament later. Come on.
So to your right is a laundry room. This is where all the laundry was processed for the wing. There's large stacks of white linens, yellowed with age, sitting silently on the shelves. To the left, this red room that you see is an incinerator. It is built from soot-streaked stone with iron fittings that have rusted to a deep reddish brown. Heavy iron doors reinforced with rivets guard the furnace chamber, and a series of pulleys and levers control the grates and ash chutes within. There are containment cells here. These 4 cells are dark and metallic. The doors have sealed openings all at eye height or near the floor. You assume that these containment cells are for any number of circumstances, like lycanthropy, curses, infectious diseases, or hazardous materials. Examining the walls, you note that they are thick and lead-lined, making them impervious to magical interference, or potentially the intense negative radiation given off by lazurite.
I think Cinza sees this and goes, "That's why he wanted it."
And finally, the body storage, a long stretch of cold gray stone fitted with sealed compartments where the bodies of the deceased were once stored before autopsy, embalming, or transport to their final resting place. Each compartment is fronted by a thick cast iron door, numbered and engraved with a large circle enclosing a smaller circle, a line running through both parallel to the ground. Above is an engraving of several black-winged women wearing legionnaires' helmets, surrounding an androgynous humanoid figure with outstretched crow's wings. And all of you may do a religion check if you'd like to recognize the symbol and what is depicted in the relief.
30.
I'm not going to bother.
30?
Another nat 20.
Wonderful.
30 altogether.
All right. So for whatever reason, 30 sees you recognize this psychopomp usher, but not Sister Atropos. Shannon is an agender psychopomp usher formed from the eddies in the River of Souls, created by mortals' resistance to death. Shannon gathers wayward souls and returns them to the boneyard, for it is said that every mortal heart contains a piece of Shannon, which the shepherd seeks to recover. And they are attended by the Metamen. Yeah, they're psychopomps that serve as protectors of the souls of the fallen. Because as you can imagine, just as, bear hang out in a river to catch fish when the salmon are swimming upstream, so too do things that find souls to be tasty and valuable, like to try to sneak them out. So Metamen, there are many creatures that guard the River of Souls. Metamen are the main psychopomps which do so. So they're essentially Valkyries that defend human souls. And they, of course, report to Shannon, who is in charge of trying to track down and pull back souls that are actively getting poached.
Hey, Steenza, are you going to take some time to analyze why the psychopomp you identified the quickest was the non-binary one, or do we have a job right now? Are we going to return to that?
You're the only one making a thing of this right now.
Just pointing it out. That's all.
And you know what? We can analyze why you chose to do that later.
So as you walk out of the door using the chime of opening, you can walk out onto the docks, and you can see this is where the lazarite is going to be delivered to Odessa once the mining operation begins. And you see the thick mist of the Glimmergrave, you see the moon behind the clouds above, and you feel the peace, the safety, the comfort. You start to get a sense of how hard won and how fiercely guarded this safety truly is. How unique, special, and singular Vesper Holt is, and the sacrifices that have been made along the way to make it so.
Well, I, for one, will not be taking this for granted. Deep breaths, everyone.
It feels lighter here.
I was thinking of the nice liquor that we found in there. I would love to gift one to Dr. Derek. I think he will be very at peace as well to learn that not only are the hauntings here at rest, but we did so without harming them in any way. We chose diplomacy. We chose to soothe them into the next life.
Can't really talk to a bed, so yeah, I agree.
So yeah, you're able to walk around the other side. So there actually is a connecting dock. Because this island is surrounded on three sides by water, this is the back dock, but of course they built another one. That's the one that you saw coming in the first time. So there's a gate that they open for you. Dr. Velstrom is there. It's several hours later. You see Dr. Agatha, she's a little bit tired. She maybe has a little coffee clutch. She's sipping with very tall, half-orc, orderly. And she's not disappointed. Like, she's not a monster, she's not disappointed that you survived by any means. In fact, maybe even is a little visibly relieved, that it didn't go horribly, actually. You look worse for wear, but all about you. Not possessed, I hope.
No, of course not. I mean, truly, it's things that we deal with all the time. You had no reason to worry.
Was there could we have been possessed? I didn't know that could happen.
Don't worry about it now, Wick.
She
And on the
looks to
thumbs
Wick
down.
saying that, and then to Thistle, who said, "We deal with this all the time," and she just says, "All the time."
We don't tell him much.
Thistle and I deal with this
All the time.
Do any of you require medical assistance?
Wick does.
Absolutely.
I honestly think that if you and your staff are willing, we wouldn't be opposed to just a medical check. We can, just sort of a cursory, just in case kind of thing, as her bones ache ever so slightly from the condition of being drained one again.
So, yeah, she is able to treat each of you 43 HP you can get back for each of you.
Is she able to do anything in particular regarding the drained condition or no? If not, that's fine.
Drained is like one of the only treat conditions I think that you can't fix, but let me double check.
While our GM is looking that up, I think after Morrow and Thistle have been tended to, she's going to pull Thistle aside and just... Thistle, dear,
Yes.
you mentioned something, and she's going to kind of glance and lower her voice and make sure that Thistle and her are the only two that can hear this. Back at the beginning, you mentioned that wasn't the first time a birthing bag had tried to kill you. I didn't want to bring it up at the time. There was some very pressing matters we needed to take care of, but I guess what I'm trying to spit out is, are you okay?
Hasn't killed me yet. Look, I appreciate your concern. I had a lot to deal with at the time too. But look, what's important is that we have each other and we have our companions, and Log is all right, and we await a long bath and to not have to think about this until the next time we have to think about this. And if you just keep moving forward, everything will be all right.
Gonna open her bag, pull out the bottle. Well, we're rooming together tonight, aren't we?
And Thistle kind of pulls out her bottle and she goes, drinks on the balcony.
Wonderful. So, yeah, the four of you take the carriage back to Veracasti. There have been many revelations uncovered in Misthaven about yourselves, about the history of this place, about the doctor. I would like each character to tell us about something that they feel that they have learned, gleaned, or gained, and if and what they want to do with this knowledge. And we'll start with Morrow and Thistle, who are sitting on the balcony together, dangling their feet in between the slats of the fencing. Thistle, what have you learned? How will you carry this knowledge forward in your dealings here, as it really does sink into you all just how long you might be stuck in Vesperhold?
I think that she is reflecting on it almost from like the royal family's perspective. It's having lost a son in such a violent way, having lost that sense of security. She remembers when she lost everything. And I think that her mind is still stuck with watching her beg for her child's life. And as she kind of drinks herself almost into a stupor, she kind of wonders if her own child's okay back home. Someone she hasn't checked in with in nearly a generation. And I think she's wondering what story she kind of set in motion in the same way there's one here, and then dipped before taking care of the ghosts of her own past.
You all had been really fixated on Radia's description, she suffered no pain. And Thistle, as a mother, as someone who has lived at least one human lifetime,
Yeah.
I think drunkenly you can chuckle at the naivety. What a child. What mother suffers no pain?
No pain. Yeah.
Ridiculous notion.
Yeah.
Moro, how are things for you? What have you learned, and what will you take with you moving forward here in Vesperhold?
She's having a fantastic time with Thistle, and she is absolutely using this to avoid that seething, burning rage that she is starting to feel, because she defended Dr. David. She defended the man that she had learned so much from. This is the man that preached to her the importance of not only academic honesty, but medical integrity, and always making sure the chain of command has been secured. She is, whether or not this is narratively true, she is convinced that he knew about the vampire, because how could he not, as the family physician? And he chose to leave.
Yeah.
And I can't promise she won't try to confront him without the rest of the party there.
Damn it.
Absolutely. And emotions like these that often are flared and fueled by alcohol, they come and go, right? I think that there is potentially a cyclical nature to that. And it may even be, there are days when Moro's going to wake up and she'll understand and forgive and see the bright side, and there'll be days when she'll wake up and be like, absolutely no, this man abandoned his charge, and then it may flip again. So I leave the possibility open for Moro that it is not set in stone how you feel, but it is cycling. Absolutely.
Yeah. She's very much in just that the information is very fresh, and we're settling into that immediate gut reaction. But
Yes.
that does not mean that's going to be the same down the road.
Wick, you return back to the manor with your companions. If you peek inside the greenhouse, you'll see the lights are off. So Odessa must be sleeping in her tent. You're eager to report the good news to her and show her the journal that you procured. What has Wick learned? Wick seemed to have the most compassion for Derek, to put himself in the mind of Derek the most. What has Wick learned at this point about that situation, or really anything? And what is he going to take with him into your time here in Vesperhold?
I think it goes back to when he had his moment with Odessa, to say that the moment he had met Odessa and Captain Kai and the crew, that he had changed. When he had first entered this job, he had no idea. He thought villains were villains when foes were foes, and there would be dagger cards being thrown in, and it was going to be a fight. But upon meeting the ghouls and learning that, I think that what he's learned so much is that for every villain, there's an opposite side of the coin. And so he looks at ghouls and the undead with such empathy, because he knows that there's another side to that. And going through this too, to go in and be faced with these ghosts who were terrified, like frightened conditions and sickening conditions and massive damage, and to still try to speak to them and serve to them instead of, pulling out the knives. And I think that that's what he's coming out of this, is that ongoing learning for him, that villains have that other side to them.
Absolutely. And almost conversely to Moro, who is shocked that Derek would potentially leave, maybe knowing that there was a vampire in their midst. Wick, not discounting the humanity that remains in many intelligent undead, perhaps you can even see the other side of it, underestimating Davron. I mean, we're talking about a boy who presumably Derek attended the birth of, who he saw live a whole life, and then whatever happened to transform him, whether it was by choice or by circumstance or fate or violence, whatever it was, the boy had the ability to break in to the place where he was physically born, to enact a horrible terroristic tragedy on the people who he was born to one day rule. And finally, Cinza, where do we find you on the grounds of Veracasti? Or do we?
No, I think she came back with everybody. I think she took her bath and took whatever meal that is offered her by the staff of Veracasti in her room. I think she didn't really want to be around people right off the bat. Based on, this is kind of just a question that occurred to me while I was listening. Based on the layout of the house and the fact that this was once the family home of Radia, is it possible that the room that Cinza is in was her room at one point?
It is extremely possible, yes. And maybe even a comfort to think that Radia wanted you to be here.
Yeah. So I think that she's spent some time just being quiet. She cleaned herself up. She took her food to the room. She ate. She left that sitting. And she's, I think, laying on the bed, not in bed. She's still clothed, but she's just kind of staring up at that beautifully painted, navy ceiling with those milky clouds meant to evoke the feelings of summer. And I think there are a lot of thoughts going on because we learned a lot of stuff. Gang, we learned a lot today. And I think she keeps ping-ponging back and forth between the plaque that she saw in the graveyard, where Radia admitted that she didn't know who was in this grave, in this like, mausoleum style. But this plaque had this, beautiful sort of mysterious sentiment to it, and flashing back and forth between that and watching the father and son plunge over the side to the screams of a mother and a lover. And I think the word that goes through her head is just lies. The family knew that Davron didn't die in a hunting accident. They knew what happened here. And they've been keeping that because presumably if word got out that the late Vidira had been a vampire, that was the one that exacted this horrible tragedy that could have affected the rule of the ruling family, and that could have been catastrophic for them, and the people could have been extremely upset because people's loved ones they died. And so, Radia carries this family history, whether she knows it or not, and this family tragedy. But I'm lying to her too. How is that better that I lied to her face? And I think she finally kind of says aloud to nobody, I think I'm gonna have to tell her the truth.